about that?
I'm pretty sure.
Your lighting is different today.
Yeah, because my light's out. What do you think of my new attire?
Looks the same. New shirt?
Yes, brand new shirt. Alrighty, quiet on the set. Getting ready to roll the intro.
All right. Quiet on the set. You're listening to WRFB Radio Free Britannia. Coming to you live from Deltona, Florida. 7 years plus and still running. Who'd have ever thought they would last this long? Lunch with no other than the dynamic duo themselves, Laz and Jack.
And greetings, everybody. This is Laz.
And this is Jack. Welcome to another edition of Lunch with Laz and Jack, where we interpret the Shroud nude so you don't have to do anything other than question your own personal life choices and ours. And today we are joined in Discord by an extra special person who's here to give us some data.
Jumping the gun, but that's okay. Yes.
No, not even.
Waldo with the sub, and Waldo with 300 bits, and my radio output is not working for some reason.
Uh-oh.
Which I cannot figure out why. Let's go take a look at that real quick. I don't know what's going on there. Why that's not cooperating, because everything else looks like it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. But we'll fix that real quickly here in just a second. We got audio there. Okay, I don't know why that's not doing it. And we got no audio there, which is really weird. Really weird. I just went through this with Justin last night because Justin was having problems doing what she was doing. Let's see, silent output, apply. See if that fixes us. Turn that on. No, that didn't fix it. Okay, I'm going to have to fix the radio later on in the show, so anybody listening via the radio right now, well, you have to tune in on Twitch. But Waldo's going to get himself a mystery game key. He's going to get himself a copy of Sinking Island. Going out to Waldo. Thank you, Waldo, for the sub and for the 300 bits. But yes, it is Monday, May 16th, 2022, here inside and outside Shroud of the Avatar. We do have a very special guest in studio. It is Winston, our newest developer on the team.
Yes.
Greetings.
What's up,
Salutations.
Winston?
Data. Show me more data. Come on.
Data.
We
Data.
want all the data. All
Does
the
not
data.
compute. Does not compute. But yes, everybody say welcome to Winston. Some of you may know him like we do, as we've known Winston and
Hoblock
his
3.
yes, and his cousin Winfield. That what we're calling it? Your cousin?
Yeah, he's my cousin. He's always fishing, yelling at me to get out of the way.
Yeah, I'll tell you. But
Fix
yes,
things.
we know the man, the myth, the legend in his own mind. Winston, from many years back, again, we've attended conventions together. We've done Hoblaw together. We've done Christmas parties, teleconferencing together, all sorts of fun stuff. Those were the
Streams.
days.
Broken
Yeah.
arms together. All
Broken
of it.
arm. That's right. That's right. You and Sean picked me up at the train station and drove me to the hospital up in Baltimore. That's right. I always give Sean most of the credit for that because he stayed while you had to go do other things. But
And I
you
think
are the driver.
didn't Winfield use the big spoon and marry you and Jack at a Hoblock?
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
see,
right.
That was Jack. That was a Jack Frost imposter. That wasn't Jack Cynicist that you married.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that was a Jack Frost imposter.
He doesn't like to admit to the fact that he cross
I
dresses.
don't know. I think there was a witness there called Scrota. Scrota will testify. Right.
That a person pretending to be Jack Frost was. I was kidnapped off the set, and then this guy with a black mustache showed up. I don't know who that was.
Sort of similar to the mustache you have, right? Yeah. Okay.
But black.
Oh.
Very, very black.
Just for men, yes. Yeah.
But yes, our history does go back many years, and for me, even further, more years back in UO. But we can get into that later.
That's right. But we're here to talk about what you're doing, what you're up to, and how you came to be where you are in your new position at Catnip Games. Is that what we're referring to it as?
Yes. So I'm the newest developer on the Catnip Games team, and I focus on two things: data analytics, and I'm trying to figure out how to do live in-game events where I blow up stuff and kill people with lots of monsters, that kind of stuff.
Well, that shouldn't be too hard.
No, it shouldn't be too hard. So by way of quick introduction, in real life, my name is Jerry Thompson. My complete profile, pretty much from our point of view, is on the SodaWiki Winston user thing that some people know where that's at.
SodaWiki space Winston and your in-game chat.
Yeah, in fact, I'll put that URL in. But so I am a real-life electrical engineer, master's, bachelor's in electrical engineering, retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel, 20-some-odd years in the military, another 15 or so years as a defense contractor. So that's where I got my analytical interest in all things and data interest in all things. I finished up that gig as a defense contractor last September. So I retired out of that so I could, I live in the San Antonio area. That's why I've been close to the developers since 2013 when Kickstarter kicked off. And so I visited them a lot as Winfield. Yes. And that's where we've done the hoblots and gatherings and everything, and had a lot of fun.
Now, not only that, but like we should also clarify that assistance with the development team also included the first player-owned town that
I
went
was
into the
just gonna
game
say that the very
was
first.
designed underneath Winston.
Yes, as well.
Correct.
Many of the maps that you see out there are based off that original map that
Yes.
was made. So if you notice that a lot of the player-owned towns have the same sort of look and map, that's thanks to Winston and getting that done. But maps has still been a thorn in our side here, and of course that's one of the topics we have for later on if we ever get to it. Maybe not today, but tomorrow. Because somebody brings up some, well, very, very valid points. That I believe was who, Anpu, or was that? Yeah, that was Anpu, but we'll get to that later on. So, Winston, tell us what exactly it is that you're working on with data analytics, and what it is you're looking for right now, in
Sure.
the future, et cetera, et cetera.
So, as a data analyst engineer, my goals are to look at the event, mainly the event data. Everything you guys do in game, everything we do in game, most things are logged in what are called events. And that's thousands and thousands of things in what they call a log staff server. And so anyone understands that kind of stuff. I can go back and look at that over X period of time, months in reverse. I can tell you how many people entered Owl's Head today, and how many people entered yesterday and the day before and the day before. So I can see a lot of information. But what my role is that I took on is to aggregate that information to help the players. So what I'm trying to do is help the Catnip team with new user analysis. How many people are coming in each day, brand new? How many scenes do they go through? How long do they last before they exit, or do they subscribe, or they buy episode 2?
Right.
That
So
whole history, correct.
that's a big question on a lot of our users' minds, including ours. Can you give us an idea of how many people come in on average on any given day?
I'm not able to release the data because I just collect the data for the team, and then the other devs figure out what to do with the data. So
Gotcha.
in that regard, I'm an internal data analyst, like looking at business intelligence, business analytics, like any company would do. It stays internal until whoever in the company decides to publicly release certain statistics out of my area.
Gotcha.
But I got to tell you, you can't release anything from the company or even understand things within the company until you start doing some data analytics. And it has been done all the while since I started Shroud. I'm just doing it a little bit differently from an engineering approach with a lot of hypotheses. Let's put it that way. I hypothesize that we have X number of users and they should stay in the game at X number of rate. Then I go out and look at the data and see if the data supports that. Then the devs can make, and the player community, whatever information they want to give out to. And if the player, remember the hospitalers. See, I wish I had the data connection. It's all archived. I wish I had the data stream of when everybody was in the hospitaler program, because my hypothesis, we had a lot higher return rate on new players back then when hospitalers were engaged in a social environment.
I'm still listed on the main. I'm there every day on the Hospitalers channel. But I don't see a whole lot of action there ever coming through anymore, of course.
Right. So one of my ideas is to promote that to new users more, like we used to as players. Remember, I was a player first in this game, doing all that stuff with everybody.
Yes.
Now that I see data, I can say, what was the effect of that?
As a matter of fact, if we go to the updates, let's just get out to the updates page and scroll down here a little, Jack.
Well, before we go there, I wanted to ask a question of Winston related to that data.
Okay.
one of the things that Chris has talked about in the past was the stick rate, which was the new players coming in and sticking with the game after the first hour.
Okay.
Now, are you going to be working on a plan to try to improve that stick rate and see
Absolutely.
how that can be done?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So
Are
over
you
the
free to
series
discuss some of those plans?
in general, I think yes. So let's say we have so I see certain stick rate, and over certain months, I analyze things by month. Okay, that's my analytical approach.
Thank you for the sub.
Yay.
That's two games of marbles queued up.
So I'll talk quick. So I analyze things in aggregate. I know some stick rates. I need to look at it over a 6-month period rather than like 3 days period because I got to see trends. And then just being a player, like I say from the old days of Hospitaller, meet and greet those people coming out of the second scene. And maybe there's some way to trigger or reveal to people who's all, not necessarily private information of who's new, but hey, there's 7 people in the start who've gone into the outskirts, and all their titles are Outlander, which is the default title.
Yeah.
So somehow
would that be like a universe broadcast message that the player has joined the game?
I think there
should have been, and it's been asked for, was a Hospitaller chat where it's something like that gets broadcast. New user has joined, and Hospitallers who are signed up and logged in can see those new users as they come. And the new user should get an announcement saying, "Hey, there's a whole chat room available where if you need help," but that just became shoved into universe chat. So.
Yeah, I agree. So those what we would do, and with players, obviously, you guys and others would come up with a couple of ideas of how to further capture these people, at and out of the those second scenes, those outskirt scenes, because that's where they go off into what is out here now. So do they know that there's guilds? Do they know that there's, Castelletto? Do they know that there's a Hospitaller channel? Do they know, how much do they know coming out of those first 2 scenes is what, all of us are examining. And then,
Mom, you're absolutely correct. Commentary is if you announce to everyone, you run the risk of a newbie being bombarded with people and becoming overwhelmed. That's why like I said, it's a Hospitallers channel, and only Hospitallers who are signed up and logged in will get those messages, so Hospitallers can be there. Just like in the Shroud of the Avatar Discord, if anybody's in there, I'm just going to pop this up on screen. There are currently 15 people signed in. I'm always signed in as a Hospitaller because I'm always here. And I'm just going to throw this up on screen here. But this would be the same thing in game. Only the Hospitallers who are signed in, there's this list of people in purple right here, would see those. The whole world wouldn't see those people. And you'd have to be in game. So only people who are logged in, who are registered in game would get that, not everybody. And again, that's why, like I said, Universe Chat is where that became the help channel, but it doesn't help out newbies. That's why they should have their own newbie help channel for Hospitallers, but it was never done.
Sure.
This is all stuff that we've discussed in the past, but and speaking of which, I threw that picture down there. Do you see that picture there, Winston?
Yeah.
Down at the bottom? I do believe that is you standing across from me in that picture.
I think it is.
I think
That's
he's
the way
Siri.
And this was taken back in the day when we were doing gatherings and hospitaling and all that good stuff.
Ago.
And this is a picture that's been used forever and a day, but I always get a chuckle out of it because it's me and it's actually Winfield, yes.
Right.
They're there in center stage, doing our thing. I think that was a Christmas party. I think that was actually. I see the
With the
Christmas tree
decorations, maybe,
standing
yeah.
behind you. Yeah, I see the Christmas tree sort of sticking out behind you there. But
Yeah.
yeah, there were plenty of gatherings that we used to try and get new folks involved in stuff like that. And speaking of new stuff, real quick, just a plug for the new winery happening out there. The Wolves Den Winery had its soft opening last night out at Wolves Den, where Justin, aka Laney, is working on getting some interaction, basically getting pub nights back and started. But she started with a winery, and hopefully we're going to get some traction on that. So get some new users, get some old folks together and do their thing. And Selenia Soda gifted a tier 1 sub to Zatari. Thank you. That's 3 games of marbles queued up. Also, real quick, I got to give a
Make that
big.
4, Laz.
Oh, you got one on your side? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Got to give a big shout out to Treasure Pile and Shatul. Congratulations to the newlyweds who just got married this past weekend. And there is a link in our Discord where if you want to go see it, it was live streamed. You can go back and check that out. I will throw that link in chat for anybody who may be interested, and I will refresh it in Discord as well for anybody. 4 games of marbles. Why didn't that do what it's supposed to do? There it is. There.
Yes.
So if you all want to go actually see the wedding ceremony, I am refreshing it all over the place for anybody who wants the link to go see that. So sorry about the interruption, but news, and of course news. Treasure Pile, you're quite welcome, sweetheart, and I wish you guys a long, happy, and healthy marriage. I did watch a good portion of the video in replay, and it was very, very, very cool. And of course, I know Justin tried to video me when some Blondie was playing at the reception because she knows how much I love Blondie and wanted me to join in with you, but I was watching a movie at the time, so.
Yeah.
Yes, real life news, in fact. Yes. So congratulations to you guys. I know you guys have been together for quite some time, but now making it official. I love when we get, Shroudies especially, but gamers in general who meet and fall in love and get married and go about their lives thanks to gaming, because gaming is awesome. And Treasure says she's going to get that segment for me. That'll be cool. I'd appreciate that. I'd love to see that. Moving right along, let's get back to Winston here.
On the last topic of the new users, and we think of ideas for solutions and all that, it helps me a lot to work with the community and people who have ideas. Since I'm an engineer, everything is a system of systems. And one thing I know happens is we might focus on one little particular solution of 12 things that have to be considered. And then at times we may get locked onto that, and then we don't get to the other 11 parts of the system. So when I look at how to help new users from, let's say, a social interaction point of view, first thing I got to outline is what are the major things that, now the hospitaler channel, that's one of them. Then it's a subsystem within it to say, how do people get alerted? Is that an opt-in, opt-out? Is it, a certain amount of time in? Is it, A, B, C, and D? So those are subsystems within subsystems that granularity needs to be figured out. But if you can, the whole idea of a hospitaler channel kind of auto usage, you throw away all those other sub-arguments and sub-discussions. So I have to look at things very macro first into segments. Like, I want to get these new users invited to parties. I want them to see the calendar of events of what's going on. I want them to see that there's Twitch streams out there. So these are all major system buckets that a new user should be exposed to when it comes to getting out of those scenes and getting into the social place. If just to know that those things are out there.
Well, that would be something that you would put in announcements, just like the MOTD that comes up when you log in. That would be something that would go into, say, the hospitaler chat. Now, just as an example, I recently went to go check out Legends of Area Shards of Britannia, which is a clone of the original UO map, and it's a player-run map. And one of the things I noticed what they did there was that they have give new users what they call, and you've seen this probably in dozens of games over your gaming career, they give them a young status. And during that time, they have certain protections. There are certain things that they, get over people who are no longer young. And I would suggest something along the lines of, maybe 40 or 50 play hours. They get a young status where they're automatically subscribed to said channel. And then after that, it goes away, and then they can app back in if they like what they did. You know what I'm saying? So that their first several bunch of hours in the game, they have this information fed to them, hand fed to them. They don't have no choice. They're in a young status, and they get to see that in their chat history. Then after that young status goes away, then they would be able to opt back in to continue to use it, or at that point volunteer to become a hospitaler. You know what I'm saying? So plenty of food for thought there. So just throwing some ideas at you.
That's a major system. It's been used in other games. There's two things I do when we come up with ideas like that and others is, which I love coming up with ideas and whiteboarding it out, is which things are high-tech, new tech demands, and which are low-tech, new tech demands, which are community demands, which are internal developer demands only. So there's kind of four dimensions to that.
And I know Tina's being facetious, but I'm going to point out to Tina that, yes, there is several calendars of events. If you forgot that NBNN has the NBNN Shroud of the Avatar Community Calendar, which has, of course, most of the radio and other stuff up there. But on top of that, there are two other calendars of events which you can find at NBNN, which is Thoric's Event Calendar, which will show you all of the actual events color-coded to what the events are, and up to and including, I have to go back now, the upcoming events from the Shroud of the Avatar upcoming events for people to announce their events. So.
The Catnip Games weekly fishing tourney on Friday, that is still up because somebody didn't change the feed for that.
Okay.
Because there is no weekly fishing tourney on Fridays anymore.
It says monthly. I don't see a weekly. I see the monthly fishing tourney.
It was on the agenda thing you had on the calendars, not on the thing you had up previously.
Which Thoric's?
I know what I'm looking at is lagged by about 10 seconds. Under Thoric's, I think.
Under events.
Over there on the right, under Friday, it says Catnip Games Weekly. And it says weekly fishing tournament.
Okay.
So that feed is an Islands of Wonder month. Are those feeds coming from They're very old feeds.
This is a calendar that Thoric was keeping up to date, and of course, doesn't look like he's been keeping that way up to date.
Is he still playing?
I couldn't tell you that.
This is where, from the data perspective,
is he on your friends list?
Let's see. I'm sure he is. Let's see when the last time Thoric was here.
So from the data perspective, we have good framework for calendars.
Yeah.
But the data, the calendars are useless if the data is not good. But the programming works, but now it's all down to the data. And that's where we as a community or whatever have to get the data correct to help everybody to use those. Otherwise, they won't even come back to those calendars. And that's the cycle of engineering that needs to be done.
Yeah, he was last on 429, so looks like he's still basically active, but yes.
So anyway, that's the kind of thing with calendars. You build a structure, but then it's got to be fed by good data. And that's what I'm about, is the data and then how to get it presented to the community.
Absolutely. Now
it's the same thing that we say whenever that data also has to be consistent as far as what's going on.
Now we had a quick conversation.
Streaming schedules.
Yeah, we had a conversation on, I believe it was Thursday, when I spoke to Winston, and he had mentioned stuff that we had previously mentioned about. He thought that we wouldn't be interested in the data side of it, and it's wasn't that we were not interested, but there are just certain things, and we've pointed out that, like players who come back and go, I played 2 years ago and this is what annoyed me and I left, and then they've come back just to either see that there were changes they liked, which made them decide to stay around a while, or that changes hadn't been made and it's still the same thing. Some things like crafting and part of the grind tend to grind on people, just to put a play on words there. But how do you take into account for things like that there really aren't data points for? I mean, do you try and factor something like that in?
So what we've got to do on the developer side is be able to get that kind of feedback quick and easy. So some things like Ask a Dev has helped get some feedback on what people ask about. But I don't know that we are all good yet at, even on the player side, getting those kind of feedbacks. Hey, I just came back, unless they post on a forum or they mention it to their friends, or they mention it in a live stream. So that is data collection.
Also turns around and posts it on the forums.
Yeah, absolutely.
So really, the feedback only realistically comes from the forums right now.
Correct. But meanwhile, we've got to take a pause because it is the bottom of the hour. And you guys and gals know what we do at the bottom of the hour. We do a streamer bundle giveaway.
And my bundle went to Selenia, who needs to click accept.
And Mom's going to get herself some bottles. Congrats, Mom. Mom's back in the action. Mom was in a winning slump there, not getting anything for a long time, but congratulations to you, Mom. And we'll get that right over to you. Saw Mom out at the winery last night. Always good to see her in person, or in game as it may be. Had a good time out there checking out the other folks who came out to join in the soft opening, as it might have been.
Justin's worked really hard on that. She did a great job.
She did, absolutely, as always. She doesn't do anything half-assed in this game, that's for sure. That's for sure. All right, well, anything else you got to add or you'd like the people to know? I know that Tina says, of course, let's go to Tina's comments. He says he's super interested. He just doesn't think anyone is interested in letting us see that information, which is the data. And I would tend to agree. We've been asking for all sorts of data for quite a long time, especially user counts. And that's one of those things that Chris, or even before Chris took over, they've been reluctant to release. And then, of course, we've defended it for a long time, but it's hard to defend the Steam logins when there's only 30 people on average on Steam, and people will go, well, only 30 people are playing this game, and they won't give us the numbers to say, folks, those aren't the numbers. But we know better, but we can't give people the numbers because they won't give us the numbers.
Yeah, I don't know how to tackle that problem from internal data to providing it externally. I am working one level higher in abstract on that. Is not through. I want to release trend information, okay? Because whether it's 10 people or 1,000 people logging in per day, we're looking at trends where we sit today. If it's 10,000 people logging in a day, we're still sitting on this property with only 7 people. Why? They may be all over the place and we just don't see them.
Yeah.
So it's really, I want to approach things less from a data point of view to how do we move this train onto multiple tracks over the next several months, especially with Lord British's birthday coming up. How do we get out and influence people to come in? But then when they come in, that stick rate has to go up, and I'm analyzing that internally. But the suggestions coming out, like a Hospitaller thing, or greet the new players, or better event calendars, and getting the players moved into social. The trends I would hopefully see, and probably will see, is that those players who get involved in social stick with the game. Those players who are treating this like a single player thing may not. So those are hypotheses I have. And you don't need data to be released to explain those hypotheses, true or false. We just need to look at trends and then as a team put things,
Now, just out of curiosity, I'm curious. And again, you don't have to, but is there a way for you to tell how many people are actually playing single player solo game, not logged in? Because I know they still have to connect to the servers to get updated data.
Sure, I have a beacon in everybody's house. And no, I'm just kidding. No, actually, I have no clue how we would, if it's done, whether it pings the server and say, hey, I'm logged into the local mode, I really don't know. Maybe it self-patches, and then goes into local mode. I don't know. But that's an interesting question.
That is one that gives you an opportunity to.
Now, Stymie's got a question that I'm sure you probably can't answer, but the question is, when will the imbued gem of the PAX angler from salvaging the PAX ring be added? Algarian seemed to forget that before he left the team. Well, technically, right. Algarian hasn't left the team. He's only taking a hiatus, but if I know anything about running brew pubs and breweries, more likely than not, I don't expect him to make a return, because that's going to eat up 99.9% of his real lifetime, let alone having family time if you're running a brew pub. It's just non-existent life when you're running a brew pub.
Yeah, so that's the kind of questions I don't have a clue. I don't make things. I don't use Unity hardly at all, except to pull data. I don't make anything. I don't adjust anything. I don't do any server stuff. That all gets referred to the other devs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe it's something you can refer on to the other devs.
Yeah, and even when I tell people this, I refer stuff to the other devs. It doesn't get into the official workflow if it doesn't go in through Ask a Dev, or it doesn't go in through a wish list item. Because there's workflows internally to bag and tag those things. If I just text that in panel, they'll forget. Yeah. So fire it off to Ask a Dev or wish list. Then they get tracked internally. Better than my comments to the other devs, believe it or not.
And then Tina says, if you want people to not behave like a single player as much, less parts need to encourage that. Presently, it's impossible to help guildies with the quest line, because I'm guessing, Tina, you're referring to a lot of those instances are private single instance modes. Private, yes, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, that's a very interesting observation. It is. And that's the kind of stuff I would look for. How many people have gone through the entire quest? Where have they snagged? And then I can analyze it with Fanio of which ones are open to other players and which ones are not. And that is a good question for me to analyze data and look at all those steps throughout the entire quest line, which will take me months to do. Just to give you an example, for me to start doing new user analysis, it took me 2 months to build the tools to do the queries and get those things. I run everything on Python on my home computer, VPN'd into the server. So it's very complex. It's kind of like I can't really build a table until I build the saw. And so that's
Gotcha.
I've spent 2 months doing that. But now once it's done, I can adapt it very quickly. Add another module. Add another way to track people's, how many pieces of bark bread do they make? Whatever. Now that I have the tools. So the one last thing I want to mention is that I work on these contests. Contests are a way for me to take the data analytical tools and things I create and get them out to the users to see some data and get their reaction. Those are numbers. They're aggregated. I don't reveal people's anonymity and all that, kind of thing. Keep everybody anonymous, which is just by practice right now. I have not talked to the community enough to say, should I reveal you if you have an anon level of 0, which is revealed publicly, on all the things I put out about you. Right now, I'm just defaulting to everybody's anonymous because we're kind of prototyping, we and the community as well, are prototyping the fishing tournaments and all of that. So that, I'm working on a pseudo leaderboard for Lord British's Castle, which requires episode 2, but how fast can you get through it as a solo person, as a group, as a small group, as a large group? And right now it's numbers, but it's a very complex way to see the data for me to build it, which, oh, by the way, I lifted what I did there and put it right into how to analyze new users through the different scenes. So where I do magic in one place and I test it in small, maybe trivial ways with the community, I can now do more heavy lifting inside with the team. So thank you, everybody who helps me with feedback on
Very cool.
tournaments and everything else. And I want to form like a little player team of, let's make some cool tournaments in this game and support it with data analytics. I would love to have a little group that gets together every month and we brainstorm, let's make some fun contests and let the data help drive those contests. Over.
Very
That's
cool.
my military speak. Over. But that's pretty much it for me, unless you've got something. Thanks for letting me explain a little bit of this.
No, thank you for reaching out.
Bridge Troll had a comment about Ask a Dev. Is that currently being filtered throughout the entire team?
The entire team sees Ask a Dev, correct?
Okay.
I see it. I watch it.
It goes into one of their chat programs that everybody gets to see,
Correct.
Is my understanding. Yeah,
and then we comment on it internally and
argue
and
about
nothing
it.
Is filtered off. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then after that, nothing is done with it. Okay.
So after that, I know what's supposed to be done. Some of those things are brought up at the live
stream. Yeah.
That was the original intent. But what actually happens is some of those things are put in. But to be honest, the internal workflow process of that is, if someone asks a question, someone ought to get an answer. That's the big system of systems concept. Is it worth for the type? So here's what I do suggest. Ask a Dev should be good questions. Not saying there's bad questions in there, but if they're just ornery questions to create, and I can analyze this, I can scrape that panel in there, and I'll bet you my hypothesis 25 to 30% of Ask a Dev questions are nonsense. It's not to insult anybody. It's just things that I don't know, are just somebody's. They want something, and so it helps us to reduce noise. I won't give examples because I don't really have any, but I've asked some things.
I do know that several Ask a Dev questions that have been asked in the past previously were directly related to comments that Chris had made on streams.
Okay.
And so when someone asks a question about where is, say, horse jumping,
right,
which is one of those things that what we were told was being worked on.
And you want some feedback on how is it going, and that's a valid question. And those kinds of things should be tallied and brought up in live streams. Yep, I get it.
Yeah, and the hard part is also figuring out, like, was this something mentioned in a live stream and
Before.
someone's trying to follow up on it, or is it someone just randomly making something up as far as a request for why don't I have goldfish?
Yeah.
Which is something that would be completely made up and not connected to anything.
Yeah.
And Bridge
system
Troll
of- yeah.
says, ask a dev, add more fish. Fish!
Yeah.
Nah, no more fish. We got too much fish data. Oh,
Too-
wait a minute.
too
Winfield
much
just slapped me. Winfield just slapped me.
Did he slap you with a fish, though?
Yeah,
Okay.
he did. So no, those things. And see, to be honest, what I'm doing is that data in the channel hasn't been asked before. I wrote a routine that scrapes those channels and automatically adds keywords. That was one of the first things I did on the team. And it's one of those little black box modules I got to get back to. And then they can see quickly if something's been seen before. It eats up a lot of time going through. Well, it's a water cooler talk almost. Hey, let's hover around the Ask a Dev thing for an hour and see what we can knock out. There's my data is boring bore. So
Yes.
now I'm boring everybody.
It's okay, but it does become something that, as long as it's informing development decisions, it's not wasted time and it's not wasted effort. It becomes one where it does become wasted time if no one pays attention to the data that's been analyzed.
Very good point. And I can guarantee the Ask a Devs are looked at.
Yeah.
And
And
they
argued
do
over.
impact. They do. Yeah.
That much I do know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, very cool.
thanks.
Well, thank you for joining us, Winston. And of course, you're welcome. I know you sit in our live streams most every other day, if not every day, checking out what we're doing and, just chiming in questions and making fish jokes and puns. And of course, you're welcome to come join us at any time. Just like all the other folks on staff, you all have an open invitation to come on in and correct us if we say something that's wrong, or just, throw in your 2 cents onto something that we're talking about. You guys and gals are all always welcome with the open doors here on NBNN. So thanks for taking the time today to come sit with us and chat with us and let folks know what you're working on.
Yes, thank you very much.
Definitely. Thanks for the time, and won't bore anybody else.
Yeah, take your boar and get out of here.
Thank you, guys.
Cool. Thank you.
Fun. All right.
But speaking of boring, let us go out. We've got some commentary that I promised that I would cover in today's show, and hopefully for Oxnari, this is one of those days where he's going to watch through the whole show, waiting for his question to be answered. So, Jack, if you want to bring up that YouTube commentary.
Yes.
We love comments from the audience, especially on the VODs, which is the videos on demand. You can catch us if you miss us live. You can catch us in video on demand on Twitch, on YouTube, and you can catch us in replays.
Arx Nari had this to say a couple of days ago. Love you guys and get excited to watch the video of the day. However, I'm always put off by the playing marbles all stream. If you're going to be a news network for the game, then please do that. Either way, do you thought I would speak up? I know there isn't always news, but talk to people to get some news about events and or interviews with players. Please, anything but marbles.
Yes. Now, my comment was I had a whole long explanation, but apparently YouTube doesn't like when you try and write paragraphs and space it out. They just do these long run-ons like you see here. And I had this whole commentary written out, and when I submitted it, the only thing that came up was marbles, which I had to go back and edit because I didn't think that was an appropriate answer to
As Steinman
Oxnard.
says, Marbles plays the bills.
That's right. So I told him I wrote a long reply explaining this, but somehow it was not published correctly. Tune in Monday for a detailed explanation. Thanks for the feedback, Laz. So the detailed explanation is that Marbles was actually started to break up some of the monotony and, of course, reward our viewers for their donations and taking the time to join us here. And again, I will bring up the channel here.
Yeah, and Treasure Pile is making the comment, I like the marbles, they're fun. If you're watching this in repeat later on, not as much fun. But if you're participating during the stream, it is much more pleasurable.
Right. So let me just pull this up here on screen as I'm waiting for it to load.
Are you trying to bring up the stand-up corner for the what the developers are working on?
What I'm bringing up is what the what our things are, cheering in bits for when people actually do support us with monetary support. 100 bits, we will give you our endless thanks for your support. 200 bits, random quote from Lazarus Long. 300 bits, mystery game key. 400 bits is a mystery prize, and 500 bits or 500 cumulative or subs triggers a raffle and marbles. Now, of course, most of the folks who are doing that, as you're participating live, like to get the raffles and the marbles because it's a break in the game, and B, they get a chance to win some pretty cool games that we give away. We give away hundreds of dollars of games a week easily, and thousands of dollars worth of games a month, and people tend to enjoy that. Also noting that we have given people the option to cancel a game of marbles for a $5 donation, as well as marbles is a viewer's choice thing. The viewers can choose to play marbles or continue on with the news. We usually say, give us a track number, or random or news. And most of the time they will shout out a track number or random. Very rarely, but it does happen. People do shout out news. Like today we did preempt the news for marbles. Preempt the marbles for news because we did have a live interview today, and I didn't want to step on Winston's time. He took his time to come visit us, and if it was anything normal, we would have just preempted that as per your subs and donations to stop and play marbles and give some goodies away to you guys and gals. So I do understand the frustration, Oxnari. And as I put in my original comments, that it's historically Mondays and Fridays that this happens the most, although sometimes it does happen in the middle of the week. So if you're such a big fan of watching the videos on demand or video of the day, as you want, Jack called it, VODs, usually you can get a gist of what's happening just by skimming through it real quick. And if you see that marbles, then it's one of those days. But it is an option that we give our viewership. We don't push it on people, but that's a choice that we ask them to make, whether they want news or marbles. And I'm a firm believer in giving the people what they want. So with that, we've got 4 games of marbles queued, which we're not going to get to today. So we will get 1 game in today. Sorry about that, Aknari, but there is the answer to your question. Yeah, because we got to do a giveaway, an extra giveaway at least. So how about we pull out just a fun track? You want to pull out the Raging Pin, or you want to pull out the Haunted Hills, or?
No, let's go with something with lots of ejections.
Lots of ejections.
Portal Purgatory.
Portal Purgatory it is.
Yeah, and I'm bringing up marbles right now and waiting for it to load.
So we're gonna go play a marbles race here to end off the day, and of course, as promised, there is your answer, Oxnari. Thank you for being a viewer in video on demand. Again, it's folks like you who tell me that making these posts for after the fact viewing is worth my time every day because YouTube decided to screw me out of my partnership when they changed the rules a couple of years ago. But
Yeah.
I've stuck it out because I believe that this is something that should still be posted there. So instead of being like all the other creators who just said, "Well,
You
screw
mean
you
like me?
guys," like you, who you took my monetization away because I didn't meet your big criteria. I wasn't a big draw. Well, that little bit of extra, cash from the advertising revenue made a big difference in my life. Might not have made a big difference for you guys out there, you big assholes. That's right, YouTube. I'm talking about you. But Twitch does good for us, so that's why we do it live on Twitch instead of live on YouTube. Just saying.
That's right.
So make sure you are raffled up! Exclamation! I love free shit! Exclamation! Bundle me! And of course, exclamation play to get in on both streams as Jack counts us in for a round of Portal Purgatory on our way out of here on Monday.
Yeah, and Delta Lock and Sano. Thanks for watching. Yeah, Winfield's really trying to get more people into the game, and he's doing it through the metrics route, looking at the data because he's not one of the developers. So he's trying to assist the team any way he can. So he's playing
Indeed.
to his strengths. But we are clicking start in 3, 2, 1, start.
69 seconds to get in on the action.
Yeah,
And
the
Stymie,
Lunch Show
thank you.
is
Yes.
completely different than all other Shroud of the Avatar streams because everyone else is just like, watch me play and talk about whatever, whereas we do kind of have an agenda related to Shroud news. Hence we just sit on our asses most of the time.
We found the easy way out now. Actually, we had both agreed, I think, I don't know about that. This originally started off as Lunch with Lazarus, but Jack just kept showing up, so it just became Lunch
And
with Laz
talking.
and Jack.
And
And we debated playing Screw Your Neighbor on a regular basis, but we like sitting on a lot and watching people run by and trip and kill themselves in the early days when we were based down in
the lower Owl's Head.
Lower part of Owl's Head, yes. And then it just became, we built a set and made it like a studio, and the rest, of course, is history. 7 years plus and still going when everybody said, you guys ain't gonna last. Well, who's laughing now, people? Because all you guys who said we're not gonna last aren't doing it anymore. They're not even here anymore.
Nope.
And I miss some of those folks who helped us get started, but it is what it is.
Hey, I'm still here to yell at you once in a while.
Yes, but you're not a streamer.
Not yet. I want to. I don't think my computer can currently handle it.
Tina made it in the basket on my side.
Tina taking it out early.
Yeah.
As we got everybody just portaling. And Mom, we do appreciate you being here to kick us in the ass and keep us in line on those days where we get a little overbearing.
Somebody
we love you.
Don't know what you're talking about, Mom. No.
There's a reason that they call me Mom, and it's not just because I yell at people for fighting in the house.
And leaving blood all over the guild house, I know.
Exactly.
Brutus, first ejected. Zitari pops on in and flies out, triggering.
He landed in the hole.
Yes, I'm starting to wonder whether we should count that as landing in the hole as a winner, but we'll keep that as a win as we always have. And she bakes the cookies, and she does a lot more than baking the cookies, that's for sure. She crafts the scrolls, she builds the armor, she stocks.
I do it all.
That's right. Zatiri,
Dustin could open a winery.
Yeah. Zatiri, what is your in-game name? I should notice by now.
Dun, dun, dun. Tamar Afek.
Tamar, that's right. Thank you.
Uh,
There he is,
I will say
standing right
that
there in front of me. Very good.
Virtus is getting a mystery game key of Crusaders.
Crusaders.
Yeah. There you go. Let's go see what does that one cost. How much money did he just save by winning a Steam key? Crusaders.
Now,
$3.
just real
Free.
quick, you're going to get a laugh out of this because, apparently someone was looking to find out who Dwip was to do some interactions in the game, but apparently the developer's game list did not have his in-game name listed as an actual character. I had to actually log in and try and send him mail to verify that it was an actual character, but their database doesn't have him as an actual character.
They
Yeah,
don't
I
have
know,
Axe.
but Axe is not listed as an actual character in the database. Yeah, great coding. But anyway, maybe Winston can go investigate that. Yeah, that's why I had to ask you. I thought I knew it, but Anyway, we're gonna close out the streamer bundle giveaway. And I got to do 2 game key giveaways because I haven't done the
And
other one for marbles, so I'll do those together.
Spidey, the Savage Furry, is getting that streamer bundle on my side as well. So,
Dogmeat84 is the winner of our streamer bundle. We're going to be doing the race giveaway. Race giveaway is going to go to Spawn for Egg. Spawn for Egg, you're going to get a copy of Red Riding Hood, Star-Crossed Lovers. And our next winner, end of stream winner, is going to go to Lomir. Lomir Edane. How'd your job interview go, Lomir? You're going to get a copy of the Strikey Sisters.
Ooh. Hasn't happened yet.
Okay, later on today? Yes, good luck on your next interview. But meanwhile, it's time for us to wrap things up. We'll be back with more and 3 more games of marbles to get started. So, Oxnari, be forewarned. We're starting with marbles tomorrow to catch up on what we didn't do today. Has 3 more games, but till then, I'm Laz.
I'm Jack.
And we are NBNN. Thank you, Winston, for joining us today. We do appreciate it, and we'll be back with more news, hijinks, entertainment, misinformation right here on NBNN tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you all then.